attack U.S. And he's the star of and the writer of these, conspiracy shows. And in the one episode I've watched part of, because I'm busy and I don't really watch television, it's the one with Mark Dyson. They're making fun of Mark, saying the Statue of Liberty is really a man in drag and that it's Lucifer. And then they go to top professors who go, yes, it is Lucifer, but it's the good Lucifer. I mean, it is Lucifer, okay? The French Illuminati built the stinking thing and gave it to us, and that's what it is. But see, it is Lucifer, but it's the good Lucifer, but we're kooks for knowing it's Lucifer and not liking it. Kind of like there is a world government, but you still are going to cause the loving little devil worshippers to go shoot people if you're against the world government. It's not that this world government's coming in and causing all this friction and all these crises and that nuts are going to go off because of it. I mean, we've got this major tectonic global banking movement towards tyranny and oppression and cutting off resources to populations in a post-industrial world. You know that's going to create friction and fireworks. And the globalist engineers know that full well and say they're going to capitalize on the chaos to bring in their order. And then Rush Limbaugh and Alex Jones and Ron Paul and Sarah Palin are going to be blamed in the process. I mean, this guy talked about awake dreaming, and now they're saying it is Alex Jones. It is the movie Waking Life. And they're blaming David Icke, who doesn't even talk about awake dreaming that I've heard. We've got him coming up. I mean, this is insane. But this is their guilt by association. Let's go ahead and play that clip again of Chip Filet. Here he is.
Is used in the Patriot and far-right movements to describe the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution, which freed the slaves and gave the right of citizenship to anyone born in the United States.
So you're a racist.
References to basically conspiracies in which the government is a...
What does that have to do with anything about these people, don't think blacks should have freedom? What? And then it's always, they don't like the health care. That's code for not liking black people. Oh, they're criticizing the White House staff budget. Why is that, Chris Matthews? Well, they just don't like Michelle Obama because she's black. Gee, we're going to have thunderstorms today. Why is that? Because there's black people. I'd like cheese on my hamburger. Oh, because you don't like black people? I like to wear a blue sports jacket today because you don't like black people. Did you wear that white shirt, Mr. Jones, because it's a symbol of not liking black people? Come on, let's be honest about it. I mean, they'll just nonsensically inject it into everything to punch those buttons to get people to become emotional. All right, let's finish the clip here.
Pressing the people and perhaps in his mind engaging in mind control on behalf of vested interests who control the money. This is a long-standing right-wing conspiracy theory.
This issue of grammar?
Well, as the Southern Poverty Law Center points out, comes from a patriot icon named David Windmiller of Milwaukee, who has a whole website talking about the use of grammar and numbers as a way of mind control to keep people from focusing on the great Federal Reserve conspiracy theory. The idea that the Federal Reserve was created as part of a vast conspiracy is not just embedded in the minds of people who are disturbed, but it's widely shared on Alex Jones' website and by Ron Paul, elected Representative Ron Paul. So what we have here is a right-wing milieu in which Mr. Loeffner apparently wandered through and posted information about his own beliefs.
No, and it just goes on. I'm done. I can't hear any more of it. Thank you. Let's get the next clip ready. Please. And then we're going to open the phones up to get your comment on all the things that are happening politically right now, but obviously, specifically, what you really think is going on with this shooting and all the new bills being introduced to limit how much ammo you can buy or have, or to restrict handguns. I flipped through the channels and heard many of the talk show hosts this morning on XM, including Howard Stern, calling for banning handguns. I mean, this is just outrageous, absolutely outrageous. All that would ensure is that if folks hadn't tackled this guy, the other person that came up and was also involved in subduing him wouldn't have had a gun to stop this guy if he needed it. I mean, it's total common sense, and they know it. But now it's a right-wing conspiracy theory to talk about the Federal Reserve being private or there being a conspiracy to set it up. They just had the 100th anniversary of the 1910 meeting at Jekyll Island, Georgia, and Bernanke, current head of the Fed, a bunch of other top bankers, including Alan Greenspan, former head of the Fed, chairman, they all went there and gave creepy speeches about the criminality of the banks and how 100 years ago their predecessors met secretly there to, I mean, they publicly meet and laugh at everyone about their secret meeting. And at the time, the heads of the big private banks that are now the shareholders of the private Fed, they owned the big newspapers and ran, and this is all admitted now, column after column where they were saying they were against the Federal Reserve Act. See, they wrote it, gave it to their congressman they owned. This has all come out. They admit this. This is in mainline, you know, New York Times best-selling books written by the establishment, written by these guys. So they did this con game where they said, oh, please don't throw me in the briar patch. And that's exactly where Briar Rabbit wanted to go. They write it up. They come out and say, we don't want that Federal Reserve Act. Oh, just like we didn't want the Sherman Antitrust Act. Oh, that let us make all our robber baron money tax-free. It's horrible. They wrote that as well. The average person doesn't even know what the Sherman Antitrust Act is, much less that it was a shill operation. So, see, they act like, oh, we don't want Federal Reserve. That'll run everything and control us. And because everybody knew then the banks were big and corrupt. Thomas Jefferson had written about it. Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, later. Lincoln had written about it before him. Andrew Jackson. I mean, that's what elections were about, was the money power. But now, the perceived knowledge for the average American is it's kooky and weird to talk about the Federal Reserve. For decades, that's been the view in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Not anymore. People have rediscovered offshore banks, the same ones that have destroyed all these third world countries and made them dependent. Through the money power, the power to issue fiat currency at will, allows them the unfair trade advantage to buy off governments and take over. And this guy is still giving you the old tired line that it's a conspiracy theory and that this contributed to this malaise, this morass, this swamp that this guy was in. That's incredible. Let's go ahead and play the Southern Poverty Law Center minion on with Keith Olbermann, blaming this on Ayn Rand and David Icke, of all people. Here it is.
Well, you're right, that reading through all of his materials, or the materials that are purported to be his, he sounds quite mad, out of his mind. But there is a thread through the material that really seems pretty clear, and that thread has to do with seeing the government as an enemy. The books you mentioned, there's a theme that runs through all of them, in particular the Ayn Rand book, the idea of the individual against the state. But there are ideas like the idea of the only legitimate currency being backed by gold and silver. You know, that's a core idea of the radical right in this country. The idea, weirdly enough, of controlling grammar, of somehow the government using grammar to control the people, is an idea that exists on the radical right. There's a particular person, a man named David Miller, who has plugged this idea over the years. This man also talked quite a lot in these strange videos of his about what he called conscience streaming, but I think is almost certainly meant to be conscious streaming, which is an idea that also has been kind of tossed around on the radical right, in particular by a kind of British conspiracy theorist by the name of David Icke. So a lot of these ideas, his burning of the flag, his talking about the government as treasonous, and using mind control to control the rest of us.
That's enough. So if you don't want to have private central banks destroy the currency and your savings, if you want the Congress to take control of the issuance of currency and credit, as the Constitution states, you heard it. It's a radical conspiracy theory, and it's causing people to dress up like Grim Reapers and burn the American flag. It's all our fault.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 5 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $209, and the Berkey Guy will include 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and ship everything to you free of charge. That's right, 3 Sport Berkey water bottles and free shipping. An $87 value, yours free. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
New year, new way to smoke, and it's totally wicked. Introducing Totally Wicked e-liquid electronic cigarettes, the highest quality e-cigarettes in the world. With Totally Wicked e-liquid cigarettes, there's no flame, no secondhand smoke, no carbon monoxide, no tar, no unsightly brown teeth or fingers, and no lingering smell. Totally Wicked e-liquid cigarettes have a battery charge that lasts up to 8 hours. Plus, with a Totally Wicked Tornado model, the average pack-a-day smoker is likely to save over $1,000 a year. The Totally Wicked Tornado provides a storm of vapor. See it at totallywicked-eliquid.com. That's totallywicked-eliquid.com. Or call 888-761-9425. Get a 15% discount with promo code GCNLive. Go to totallywicked-eliquid.com. Or call 888-761-9425. That's 888-761-9425. Or online at totallywicked-eliquid.com. Totally Wicked e-liquid cigarettes, the next generation of alternative smoking.
Big John, Big John. Every morning at the mine you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245, kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John.
The big news today
Big John
is that
Big John.
Arizona suspect had made death threats. The sheriff said they never did anything about it. A death threat is a terroristic threat and is illegal. And if the threat was something you were really thinking about carrying out, it's even more time in prison. But in this culture, they allow people to make death threats, and then nothing is done about it. And then they say, oh, now all of you have to lose your liberties, your freedoms, because somebody acted out on this. And now we've put together an article that I think shows premeditated knowledge of this. Liberal media was already prepared for violence. And that's a good headline with Matt Ryan. You probably just want to add so people know what it's